Hi, I'm Nick Moore, and let me introduce you to the new Kramer VS44DT. The VS44DT is a 4x4 matrix switcher with 4 HDMI inputs and 4 HDBaseT outputs. As I'll show you in a minute, 2 of the outputs also have HDMI in parallel. Now let's look at the front of the unit. We have here the sets of buttons that allow you to select which input goes to which output. Moving along, we come to the All button that allows one input to be sent to all outputs simultaneously. We have the Off button, which sends a blank signal to all of the displays. We have the Store and Recall buttons, which are used in setting up and recalling presets. We have the EDID button, which plays a part in storing the EDIDs from the outputs onto the inputs. A Panel Lock button, the Menu button, and the navigation buttons for the menu. And finally, we have the LCD display that allows you to see what status the unit is in. Let's now have a look at the back of the matrix. So here you can see the HDMI inputs, the 4 HDBaseT outputs, and you'll notice that output 1 and 2 have both HDBaseT and HDMI. Now each one of these outputs, both of the signal types are available in parallel. Moving along the back of the unit, we have an audio output, an IR output and an IR input. The IR output gives you the sum of all the signals from the IR inputs. Next we have RS-232 control of the VS44DT and an RS-232 port to tunnel through to the HDBaseT outputs. We have a USB port and an Ethernet port that gives you access to the web pages that are built in. And finally, we have the universal power supply and on-off switch. Each one of the IR inputs and outputs here is switched in parallel with the HDMI. The VS44DT is an ideal matrix switcher for installations that require 4 local inputs to go to up to 4 remote outputs. And because we have HDMI outputs in parallel with the HDBaseT outputs, you can also have local monitoring. I'd like to expand on a couple of features that we've just talked about. Firstly, you can see in this demonstration here that the VS44DT can provide PoE, Power over Ethernet, to a compatible receiver, in this case the Kramer TP780 RXR. We're using the new Kramer Unicat cable to send the signal up to 70 meters in this case. The other feature that I want to expand on is the Ethernet port. Now, we mentioned that you can connect to the Ethernet port to get access to the built-in web pages to control the VS44DT. But you can also tunnel the IP network through the VS44DT to the compatible receiver, such as the TP780 RXR, and by that way you expand the IP network. To illustrate the speed of switching, I'm going to switch from the Freeview box, which is on input 2, to my laptop, which is on input 1. Select output, select input that we wish to switch to, and within a couple of seconds the new image is present. For further information, to check the specifications and download the user manual, please visit our website. Thank you for watching.